The latest UN Security Council meeting on the Israel-Hamas war featured multiple calls for a ceasefire. But Israel and the U.S. remain opposed to this idea, with Washington only urging a humanitarian pause. Choi Min-jung has more.
The United Nations Security Council gathered on Tuesday to discuss the ongoing war between Israel and the Palestinian militant group Hamas. Speaking first, UN Secretary-General Antonio Guterres reiterated his appeal for an immediate humanitarian ceasefire. And while Guterres said nothing can justify what Hamas has done, he said its attack did not happen in a vacuum.
It is important to also recognize the attacks by Hamas did not happen in a vacuum. The Palestinian people have been subjected to 56 years of suffocating occupation.
Outraged by Guterres' remarks, the Israeli ambassador to the UN demanded the resignation of the Secretary-General.
How can the Secretary-General, with his words, justify in any way the terrible atrocities that happened to our civilians, innocent civilians?
High-ranking government officials from Saudi Arabia, Egypt, and Jordan also called for an immediate ceasefire over concerns over the worsening humanitarian crisis. Washington, however, appealed for a humanitarian pause to protect the civilians in Gaza, which falls short of a full ceasefire.
Food, water, medicine, and other essential humanitarian assistance must be able to flow into Gaza and to the people who need them.
This is the strongest remark made by the U.S. so far. National Security Council spokesperson John Kirby on Tuesday also echoed Blinken's proposal during a White House press briefing. However, U.S. officials continue to reject calls for a ceasefire, claiming that it would benefit Hamas by allowing them to recharge for attacks against Israel. Therefore, the consideration of a humanitarian pause does not necessarily mean that Washington has changed its stance, as Blinken backed Israel, maintaining that member states should recognize the right to defend themselves against terrorism. And amid growing fears that the war could widen, Blinken underlined that Washington does not seek conflict with Iran, but warned that it will defend its people and security if Iran attacks U.S. personnel. Choi Min-jung, Arirang News.